Hello, Barendipitous here with another video for the Board Game Shelf. Continuing on with the Cthulhu Mythos games that we have, which we have quite a few. This is Tower of Madness. This was an odd, random little game that we got kind of as a sort of like a Black Friday deal or whatever by a few years ago. But this is essentially, so it says investigate unspeakable horrors without losing your marbles. They mean that literally. This is a marble tower. It is likely you've seen a game kind of like this before. I'm going to construct it here. You can take this base out, but I'm going to leave it in here. So we have this thing right here. This it's in magnets, so we got it. There we go. So yeah, you construct it like this, place it here like that. There is a roof. There is a rooftop that you can like that has magnets that goes like this, and kind of like you can try to make it. You can try to make it go between the pointy bits at the top of this tower here. Although it's a bit finicky sometimes. Something kind of like that. It falls apart easily, but I mean, I think you get the idea. You get the idea of what it's supposed to look like, essentially. So yeah, you're making this clock tower. Usually I just kind of do something like this for this particular one. But then you take all of these plastic tentacle sticks. I'm not going to set up the whole thing, but just sort of demonstrate. You just stick them through. Kind of try to find the hole on the other side, and I am failing miserably at that. There we go. Okay, and it fell apart. Yeah, this game isn't like the best constructed game in the world, but I've played this a few times and I had some fun with it. Yeah, so you put some pieces diagonally. You put them all around until you end up basically with a clock tower that's meant to have a bunch of tentacles sticking out, essentially. And then what we have here is we have a bunch of marbles right here, and yeah, we have a bunch of marbles here, different colors, and once all the tentacles are in, you pour them in, and then anytime you have to draw for madness or things like that, you pull out a stick, and any marbles that fall out, bad things happen. Essentially, you take the marbles and you actually put them on your player board, which looks like this. It's kind of like a punched out board essentially. But the marbles will fit on these tracks, and yeah, you kind of see how many. So red marbles are madness, white is spells, and blue is discoveries, right? If you get four red marbles, your character is driven insane. You get to draw a spell card for each spell, like white marble collected, and each blue marble is worth 3 points towards winning the game. There are also, there's a bunch of locations and spells and everything. There's also these dice here. They're a little bit sticky for some reason. I washed them, but sometimes they kind of stick together a bit. But yeah, you can see there's a couple of signs on there. Kind of there's different iterations of the yellow sign that mean different things. You got different tokens for different effects and things, and then you have all of these various locations that basically the higher the number, the more challenging they are. You have different characters, right, and then various spells as well. So there's a sane version of the spell and an insane version of the spell. For example, before drawing a horror, which is drawing a horror is pulling one of the tentacles, choose a sane player to take any marbles that fall, so someone else gets to take it. And then if you are driven insane before drawing a horror, for each blue marble that falls, force a player to discard a spell. So obviously, generally, if your character is driven insane, bad things happen, or the spells that you cast are just not helping you, essentially. It's a it's an odd little game, and it is rather noisy as well. Here, I'll take a couple of these marbles here. If they fall, yeah, that's basically what happens. They kind of like roll around in there. Admittedly, I've not used it as a dice tower yet. Actually, I just thought of that. Actually, that might be kind of fun if I were ever to run a Call of Cthulhu tabletop RPG. And now I have to get some dice. One second here. I just grabbed some random dice. Actually, I'm not going to roll I'm going to take the metal one out, but yeah, you could really just do that, I guess. That actually might be kind of a fun mechanic now that I think about it. If you put all the tentacle things in, then you put dice on top. Then if you pull and then dice roll, and then you could have different numbers mean different things or whatever. That could be a fun little thing. Am I just putting the dice away? But yeah, So I've probably. Oops, sorry about that. I think I brought this game out probably a couple times to play with family. In general, we've always enjoyed it. We haven't brought it out very often, especially since sometimes it's a little bit finicky and everything. And we definitely have we definitely have some deeper and like more complex Cthulhu style games or Cthulhu games or whatever. But this is just a unique one. This is an interesting one, and honestly, it's a neat little gimmick that is honestly rather clever, because usually with the sort of marble tower like this, it's usually like some sort of kids game or whatever, but they've managed to turn this into an actual like mechanic for a Cthulhu style horror game, which impresses me at the very least. So there's that. But yeah, there you go. That is Tower of Madness. Kind of fun, kind of silly, but also it's fairly straightforward. It's not the most complex game in the world, but for what it tries to do, I think it's fairly impressive. I like it a lot. If you can manage to keep the tower together, that's probably one of the biggest complaints I have. But I've been able to make it work, and thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.